Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, LarryWBrooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making? Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate in the state of Texas, anywhere, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, you can reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. I want to thank everyone in the audience for tuning in this week, man. We have a really exciting show planned for you all. Today's show is entitled Protect Your Wealth. So everyone in the audience, man, text, email, direct message, let everyone know that the Prime Real Estate Network podcast is about to start for this week, and they need to tap in and learn so much about protecting their wealth and assets on today's show. I want to introduce my co-host. He is not only a highly successful real estate broker, he's a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, the proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand, but also he's the most importantly, the co-founder of Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. I want to thank him for sitting in with us this week, just like he does every week on the Prime Real Estate Network. And I'd like to introduce my co-host, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. How you doing?
Yo, what up, Rick? Hey, man. I like the way you dip your head when you announced the thing. You gave a dip to it. You can't make that up, man.
You got to show out when you got your red top on, man. Got the red top going, man. Yeah. I'm saying, man, what's been going on, family, man? How you been this week, bro?
Man, things been good, man. I'm a little tired today, only because I just got back into town. Made that trip out to Austin yesterday. You know, we announced Brooks and Davis is now in the Austin area. So, man, just had an amazing opportunity. Went down there early yesterday. Had a chance to sit down, go and visit with Champion School of Real Estate in the Austin area. Shout out to Michelle Johnson. She was an amazing career coach that allowed us to coordinate everything for us getting down there. And just getting in front of those students, the energy that they had, the excitement of just being excited that we were there, man. I've spoken at Champion Schools for many years and in many different locations. That was my first time in the Austin location. Amazing building. Amazing staff. Had a chance to chat with a few of the staff members there. Amazing staff members. But ultimately, the students, man, they really, this was my first time just having students that they went from us speaking to them for the time limit that we had in the classroom, and then going back into the retreat area where they have for the students, grab coffee and things like that, food. Man, they came back over and there and visited with me and said, I mean, they just had nothing but energy. This is the first time I've had so many texts after the class, just really looking for an opportunity or when we're going to be either back or either reaching out to us to just be able to do a presentation in more formal presentation with them about Brooks and Davis. And so it was a really good energy, man.
For everyone in the audience, man, just who's hearing this news for the first time,
Yeah.
Brooks and Davis has always been really heavy as far as marketing and working with buyers, sellers, and investors in Houston, Dallas. But now that we're expanding into the city of Austin, could you just share, Larry, with our audience, what is it about the energy in the market of Austin that just made it so attractive as far as an area where we could expand the brand?
Yeah, man. Well, we were already heavily part of the board. We closed quite a few transactions in the Austin area last year. And so not only speaking to the students, but we decided to put together an amazing happy hour. And people are going to see the videos from that happy hour come out pretty soon here. But, man, we had a chance, and the city just welcomed us, man. We had a lot of people, title companies, loan partners that came out, man. Shout out to Jason and his team, the mortgage company. They came out, supported the event. My sister came out to the event. It was just a really, really great. We did it at this place called Punch Bowl Social in the Domain area of Austin, which is a real popular spot where people come to stay, kind of congregate at. And man, a great turnout to that event. But Austin needs us, right? That's one thing that we found. We did our market research after closing quite a few deals in that city last year, and we figured that market needed Brooks and Davis. They need a brokerage firm like ours that can help teach and coach up the agents to go out and do the things that we're doing in Houston, which is close more deals, make more families, get on that train of future wealth success or future entrepreneur success through home ownership. And they need a brokerage firm that can teach the agents up, get the agents coached up to be able to close more deals in that area. So we're excited about it, which is, again, like you said, is going to change lives when it comes to people that are looking to purchase and even sell in that industry too.
Man, and that's great, man. I want to commend you and Cedric and everyone out in Austin about putting that event together, because I had heard the rumors, I had heard the whispers that we were going out and doing some things in the Austin area, that Austin really needed Brooks and Davis. So I'm proud to be a part of the organization. So as we start to roll out more initiatives in the greater Austin area, I want to make sure I'm a part of everything that's going on out there, man. So big, huge shout out to everybody in the ATX, man.
Yes,
ATX, stand up. Look,
Yeah.
Larry, we're at the part of the show where every week we give you an opportunity to share with the audience a little bit about the background that you share with the guests that we have each week. So could you share a little bit about this week's guest, how you guys were first introduced, and how we were able to get him to commit his time to sitting there with us on the show?
No doubt about it, man. So, I just spoke about the wealth thing, right? Being able to find a way to get people to wealth. And myself and our today's guest, we've shared, and you've heard me speak of this as well, and guests have too, we've shared the stage on Clubhouse a few different times. We get up early in the morning so we can tell that we're like-minded, but we've shared the stage on Clubhouse a few different times where we just had some conversations, and like-mindedness grows. And so I've had an opportunity to go from Clubhouse to just really following his movement, following the way that he's built out his business and loving on his family through social media, through Instagram. And man, I wanted to reach out to him and have him be a part of our platform. He has a wealth of knowledge that he needs, that our guests and the people that follow the Prime Real Estate Network need, man. So just having him say yes and be a part of the platform has been a good thing. And again, the information that I've received from him in the past, I want him to be able to share that information to our guests again. So that's why, and it was an easy commitment, man. My man he has a time. He's an entrepreneur. He understands, how to what the bigger picture is when it comes to spreading the wealth in the industry, the wealth when it comes to the insurance industry. So yeah.
Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce this week's guest. This fine gentleman is not only an insurance expert, he is also a wealth protection expert as well, entrepreneur extraordinaire. I want to thank him for sitting in with us, and I'd like to introduce this week's guest, Mr. Nathan Brown. How are you doing, sir?
I'm well and blessed. I appreciate the invitation.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure, brother, man. Thank you so much for sitting in with us, man. First thing first, Nate. For the members of our audience who are being introduced to you for the first time, just please introduce yourself and your organization, please.
I like to start it in a certain way, so I'll do it that way. I say, hola, beautiful world. Mr. Brown, life agent, checking in on this beautiful day. It's nfbrown.org for your life insurance, retirement, and financial planning needs. If you'd like to retire early, you should plan early. Also, praybigger.myshopify.com. That's where you can find Pray Bigger merch. We have trademark Pray Bigger because honestly, I believe that's the difference between us having more and being better, because we have the skill set, we have the work ethic, but what are our goals? You know, what is your goal? If you're aiming for something small, you're going to hit it. If you're aiming for something big, who's to say you won't hit it, you know? Yeah. But it's getting that bigger perspective, getting that bigger view of, you know, I serve a big God, you know, the God of the universe, not just of New Caney, Texas.
Yeah. You know, man, I want to thank you so much for sharing your message. So for the members of our audience, could you just talk a little bit about how insurance products can be used to build wealth while at the same time protecting the assets that you already own?
I can be quick about it. The insurance product, in my opinion, is the original smart contract because it gives you all of the return, all of the glamour, but it also gives you protections and securities that no other contract gives you. If you're looking at it from a life insurance perspective, it's a small view. But if you look at it for the whole product that it is, when structured properly, you're taking your money out of the conventional banking system and putting it into one you have more control of. And how you do that, your creativity and your plans are all up to you. No one's saying you have to use the money this way. You're limited to and restricted to how you can move it. There's very little of that going on with these financial products when used with a wealth strategy. Yes. If you're just looking for final death or, you know, death benefit, yeah, if you're going to die, final expense insurance, that's a thing. But what we talk about is life insurance, and we break it down. Life. We're talking about the living and what you do with this money while you're alive and the way to accelerate wealth using the product. And it's a cash valued whole life product. There's a lot of different things people are going to tell you about. They're going to tell you about a universal life, a variable universal life, an index universal life, an index. All I'm saying is all of those products are well and fine. But for the banking aspect and the guarantees and the protection, there's only one product that does that. And that's a whole life product, because it makes you a participating member of the mutual company. It has to be a mutual company for this to work optimally. A mutual company that has a history of paying dividends and interest, which I work with 4 of the 5 biggest mutual companies in the country to give variety and options to clients. But the idea is that instead of waiting 20 years, 15 years, you can start a policy with the cash value. And in doing so, you can get real creative. Like, why would I do that? Well, this policy is paying you a guaranteed minimum. The lowest company I have is 3.5. The highest company, the guaranteed minimum is 4%. But the average payout is 6.3 to 6.5% every year. There's no risk. It's not at risk. So now what you're seeing is compounded payment on top of that, what they pay you. So this year, 6% isn't next year, 6%. And it's definitely going to be more in 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I have a electronics engineering degree. We do high levels of math. We go to calculus 5, and they give you 5-page problems, you know, back and front mathematical problems. When at the end of the semester, they give you one equation that takes those 4 pages and collapses them all into one equation. You took 4 pages backwards and forwards. Might have took you 6 hours to work this problem. If you messed up, you started again. You might have took all day on this 4-page problem. But at the end of the semester, they give you an equation. And this is what I like to think of as that equation. And you, the entrepreneur, the business owner, are the exponential. And if you understand math, you understand that exponential is that number that can expand the profit or the product exponentially, infinitely even. So you being that entrepreneur, being that exponential to this equation that is set forth and used by so many other people, you get to say, you know what? I'm going to take my 30-year mortgage and I'm going to pay it off in 8 years. Well, how? I'm going to use a life insurance product. I'm going to match my mortgage every month. And this is strategy. This is wealth strategy. And I give it to you quick because I understand our time is short. It's saying I'm going to set a product up, a policy up that can hold at least $28,000 in cash value. And that's if my mortgage is $28,000. Say right now we got a great deal on this home. Our escrow is, I did a $2,400, but our escrow is about $2,600. Beautiful deal. Those deals aren't even flying around like that. But I did it at $2,400. If your escrow was $2,400 and that's times 12, that's $28,800 a year. If you match that mortgage, that's our plan to pay it off. Just match the mortgage because we clearly make way more than $2,400 most months. You're taking $2,800 off of principal every year. I mean, $28,800 off of your principal every year. And doing this math, you're down to owing less than $1 in year 8 because you're also making your mortgage payment every month. But this is the technique. You don't just give the money to the insurance policy, as it would pay me more. If you chose to pay them $2,400 a month, every month, they would definitely pop me off. But I'm a fiduciary. So I'm supposed to tell you how to best work the product for your benefit.
Yes.
So in best working it, it's best to pay it annually, one time. That's the premium and the extra cash dumping. So this is what? Tax season, but before tax season is tax mitigation season. That's October to December. So during tax mitigation season is when I'm doing the math on what money I need to move. But if I know, and this is the beauty of it, I know I'm going to put up 30,000, 8,000. I can save that 28,000 in a business savings account and allow my business to get the credit for having this cash accumulating hand over fist, even though I know what my plan is. So if I start a holding company with the intentions of buying property, and I know that the SBA will give me a 7A loan, and all I need is 10%. Well, this is where I'm going to hold that 10%. For once I get that 10%, I borrow against my money. Now, what did I just do? I took my money that I would have given away and I put it in OPM. Because it's an insurance product, it's going to grow back automatically. It's going to grow back like a lizard leg as long as you're paying that annual premium.
Right.
What happens? Maybe one year you skipped some profit. You didn't really click like you needed to. You made your premium, but you didn't have the whole 28, 30 extra you wanted to put in. That's okay. The next year you can make that up because it's not an obligation. You're not obliged to put the extra. You choose to put it. And in doing so, you now control how much you get in retirement tax-free as a supplement. You also control what cash liquidity you have on hand at any given time, because in requesting the money, you have it within 48 to 72 hours. So when you get into real estate, like you all are into commercial real estate, and this is what I'm moving into, that's why I'm so happy to be here. Working with clients as a wealth strategist, looking to be a complete asset manager eventually. I realized that with that cost segregation and using the bonus depreciation in the first quarter of purchasing any product, and then banking the money in a life insurance product, you can go from $150,000 commercial property one quarter to 18 months later having a portfolio, because that cost segregation with that bonus depreciation gives you a lump sum cash. You have a bank policy where you can put the money at while you find your next property. You then use the equity or value of that first property plus that big cash to go get a property double the cost. And so it's like saying buying the property wasn't the goal. The property was a tool. I needed the tool, that first tool, so that I can implement it in this cost segregation bonus depreciation play. The reason why I use the banking policy is because I want to keep my money. I don't want to spend my money. And you're like, what do you mean? You still borrow against it, but I'm getting paid a guaranteed 4% every year with an average of 6.3% every year on the money that's not even there, because I used it to go buy some property. If you find another financial product that does this, please tell me I will do that. But there's no other financial product that I find that does this, and that's IRA, 401k, a bond, a T-bond. It doesn't matter. It's not going to do this because of the guarantees compounded and compounded.
Nate, I have to ask you, because everything that you mentioned is just so intriguing, and it just brings up such a myriad of ideas of things that you could do to take advantage of this particular product. So I must ask, you just mentioned IRAs. For those passive real estate investors that have IRA funds, have an IRA account where they may invest in joint funded projects, might do things with mortgage notes, is there an insurance product that works along the terms that you just mentioned that those type of passive investors can invest in?
Well, this is the idea, and I want you all to keep your minds very open.
Yes, sir.
When you put your money into an IRA, that's an investment vehicle. So it comes with the restrictions and limits of an investment vehicle and the taxes and the penalties. When you put the same money in a life insurance policy, not only can you put way more, it's not considered an investment. It's considered a purchase. But look what I did. I wrote your policy to where maybe you made a $30,000 purchase, but only 10,000 of it is your actual premium. The other 20,000 is just now cash collecting interest and dividend guaranteed that you can access as you need to. Let's do it again. Year 2, I put 40,000 on top of it because I can. That's how it's built. Now in 2 years, though my premium is only $10,000, I have about $50,000 in cash value I can go access. But guess what? I already paid taxes on that seed. So it's going to grow back and distribute tax-free for the rest of my life at any time I'd like to. So for entrepreneurs and self-employed people, this is how you set up the wealthy man's IRA. I've already licensed the name, and I got a book I'm going to put out eventually called The Wealthy Mirror. And that's the wealthy man's IRA. In the wealthy man's IRA, he wants to stuff as much money as possible into this guaranteed position and access as much as it is possible before he passes away, because every time he put more money there, it increased his death benefit too. Think about it like that. The death benefit didn't increase equal to the cash he put in. It increased equal to the cost of insurance. So he might have put in $50,000, but he got $700,000 in insurance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is what I want you all to see. The banks bank with the insurance companies because of these guarantees. So they take your money and they run into the insurance company before they distribute it. They have the type of relationship where it's really just a wire transfer. Saying, now we're transferring 50 million for this type of to distribute to these type of clients. But the idea now is that they're getting guaranteed interest and dividend off of money they don't own at all. So they're just playing middleman for the growth on your money while giving you very little. These products can be used from everything from a pension plan to a compensation plan because of the guarantees. So with any IRA you bring up, I know there's going to be a very savvy investment banker that speaks real loudly and confidently and knows some numbers to attract you. He's not a fiduciary, for one. And for two, there's no guarantees in anything he's giving you. So when you ask him, well, what's the guarantee? He'll say, oh, well, everybody knows there's no guarantees in investments. That's why life insurance isn't an investment. It's a purchase. I purchased guarantees. Buy it on your life, buy it on your employee's life, buy it on your children's lives, because that's insurable interest. So I hired you, I employed you. You have value to my business. So I can go put an insurance policy on you or even use that as part of your compensation package, saying, hey, stick with my company for 15 years and I'll pay you out a pension of this amount. Now check this out. Because of the way the policy is structured, the business owns the policy. So they have access to the cash growing inside the policy. The employee has to be there for 20 years. So for 20 years, you're dipping in and out of this thing, growing it exponentially. So by the time it's time to pay out their pension, you have way more than what you owe them in pension based off of the one policy.
Right, because you've been making money, investing the money that
you
they've
had
been
the ability to
always
put extra cash into the policy, not contingent on what you said you would pay the employee, but contingent on what the contract allows you as the owner to do. Right? So guess what? The employee left. He didn't stay long enough for his pension. He don't care about a pension payout. Something happened. Boom. Guess what you just got? A free account. Growing money. Because you're the owner. And because it's a business-owned policy, you can change the insured as long as they qualify. So you can go get another person that's professional and say, hey, I got this pension package. And you can sweeten the pot because you have the cash already. You don't have to go start the pension package. They just got to qualify for the insurance.
Wow.
So, and I mean, I got a lot of this. Like, this isn't like, it's like I have to be this type of agent to compete against people who are willing to say anything and do anything. So they have no integrity in the way they move. So to beat them, I just have to be more informed. I can't lie. I'm not going to sit up here and go back and forth with lies for you, but I can beat you with the truth as long as I know enough of the truth.
Because you said you're they're not a fiduciary. You are a fiduciary in this portion of it.
Yeah, most insurance agents work as well. Not all. Most insurance agents who work for mutual companies also have to be licensed fiduciaries.
Okay.
See the difference? Mutual companies. So someone who works for a company, and I'll name the company. Y'all can bleep it out. Say like a company like Transamerica. They sell a lot of policies, but they're a stock-owned company. So they're owned by stockholders. So when they make financial decisions, it's for the stockholders, not the policyholders. The mutual company is owned by the policyholders. Which policyholders, though? Whole life and annuity. So that's where your guarantee comes in, because you're not just buying a product, you're buying part ownership into the company. So you're getting these guarantees. Now, there's more savvy financial products you can get into once you really have the money to throw around. But I like to think of it like this. Why risk and get into skeptical investments and not have a guaranteed solid foundation? You know, and you all know this from real estate. When you're buying your homes, if that foundation ain't right, that might be the home you pass on, no matter what the price is.
No doubt about it.
Especially if you can't figure out why the foundation is messed up. It's like, is it on an earthquake fault? Like, why is this house crooked or sideways and everybody else house straight? But you know, that's what this is, and that's what I aim to build, and have been building quite, I think, productively. Just given this is just me and a couple of people that help me, you know.
So under this, are you able to still build something like this in a trust, or is that like a whole nother process that you would have to go through as well?
That is the perfection of it. The whole system, all of this stuff works together in concert. So the trust would own the policies, allowing you to increase your net worth without going into a certain tax penalty. We also have life insurance trust, irrevocable life insurance trust, or trust you can create where when you pass, your life insurance money goes into the trust, pays out to the child when the child makes a certain age over 18. You know, they're beneficiary type deal. So there's a lot of options and creativity, but I promise you, whatever thing you could think of, however creative you can be, it can be done with the life insurance policy financially for your good and to work in your favor.
You know, Nate, I just, because the depths that you're willing to go to educate not only Larry, myself, your clients, and our audience, I want to thank you so much for it, because from an investment, wealth protection, wealth building standpoint, for whatever reason, insurance has always been underreported. It gets underutilized, especially in our community. So Larry and I know from working in real estate exactly what you mean, as far as this type of education is so needed. And you have to go above and beyond, because like you said, there are so many unscrupulous people that are selling products that may not necessarily be of the benefit that the person is looking for, that may not have guarantees. So I want to urge everyone in our audience to follow you online and take advantage of any courses. So I got to ask, are there any upcoming master classes, educational opportunities that members of our audience can take advantage of to interact, learn from, get consultations with Mr. Nate Brown? Because if so, please share that with our audience at this time.
And I'm glad you said that. Our community is the only community kind of have a stigma against life insurance, but that's learned behavior. So we have to find a way to teach them differently.
Absolutely.
But yes, nfbrown.org, obviously my website, that just deals with one company I work with, New York Life. But you're able to leave your contact information there for me to grab it. And I work with multiple companies. Also, I'm going to say it slower, nfbrown.org, because I tend to get to running. But also my business cell is available at 504-920-5071. I'll be speaking and holding a private wealth strategy course at the Focus Business Conference in March. I believe it's the 4th annual one. So it's going to be, it looks like right now the dates are the 23rd of March to the 25th. And the website's going to be focusbusinessconference.com. And, you know, that's through the Hello Houston, Texas group.
Shout out Andy. Shout out Just Ask Andy. She's an alumni of the Prime Real Estate Network as well.
Nice. Good to hear. But you know, when I was moving to Houston, that's all I was looking for, was a group that was business oriented, that was mostly business oriented, to help me get acclimated as a business owner. Now I'm in 17 different states, and I'll be adding a couple more states here soon. But the idea was that, like, I've been in the military, I've been around the world, I've lived in Italy and Puerto Rico and different places like that. So I've seen the difference in cultures. But everywhere I go in America, we as highly carbonated individuals have the same social and economic issues. So having an engineering degree, I had to wrap my mind around, how is this possible? You read book. I read a lot. Like people have shoe collections. I have book collections. Literally, like I get excited when I find books. But in reading, you find that the same social and economic issues we have now, we had 120 years ago.
I agree. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get past someone who's created a system to condition you to be a certain way? You have to get strategic. And in that strategy, that's why, working with Hello Houston and saying, okay, I'll come in. I won't do a public class. Like I won't get on the stage and do that because I understand the powers that be. This isn't an accident. We don't use this product. It isn't an accident. They'll let you sell houses, be into real estate, but the same person that hired you may not have known, but no one from higher up will ever come pull your coat to, hey, I know you're doing real estate. This is how you use the life insurance product to expand your wealth exponentially in a short period of time. No, they tell you get an IRA, get a 401k. So when you get your extra money, you got somewhere to put it and you can defer the taxes to later. And I'm like, you think the tax is going to be less later or more later? The question is, do you plan on making less money later or more money? Nobody's working to make less money. No, you're working to expand and grab. And if you don't decide to switch it into a trust and you keep it under you still need to have a plan for how to expand. Most people don't know Social Security is only paid off the last 3 years of your recorded income. So you can make
the last 3 years. That's crazy.
Wow. What they decide to tax you at is going to be what was the last 3 years you were taxed at, or what your tax bracket was while you were working. So if you retired as a super executive, guess what you're doing? You're paying the most taxes on that Social Security money.
Right.
But if you took a fiduciary role and stepped down and all of a sudden your salary got broken down, but who's going to tell you to do that? Who's going to be there to tell you?
Nobody. Right. Nobody doubt it. Right.
I will tell you about that.
And I deal with all type of retirement packages and programs, like even with the police in every city, sheriff and all, they have bogus retirement packages that basically require them to pay out 20% every time they go to access their retirement funds. Wow. So you're giving back more than you're able to keep. No one ever pulls their coat and says, hey, take all the money, pay the 20% one time, put the money into a life insurance policy and make all your interest, make all that you paid them back in 4 years and keep making the money. And now when you need to access the money, there's no penalty. That not only is there no penalty, the insurance company is built in a way to where they're called mandatory, required minimum distributions. Once that policy got so much money in it, they're making you take cash out of it because they don't want to report the growth. They don't want to report they got policies busting out the seams with interest and dividend. That's a conflict of interest. For whom? The IRS and the banks. So, we do this discreetly. If we can do it privately and keep private wealth strategy courses and groups growing, think about it. You're in real estate. How many black development companies are you working with?
You're right, though. I agree. No doubt. You're right.
But they don't start off as black development companies. They start off as private investment groups, family offices, maybe one meeting another one, then another one at some gala. And now they coming together. You have 4 family offices sitting down saying, hey, we could build a couple of apartment buildings over here. Hey, we could build a couple of houses down this strip. Hey, that's where. So you got to start somewhere, though. I think we're past the conversation stage. We're past the talking about what the problem was and who done it and all that, right? Right. We're in the take action stage because, like, you can sell commercial real estate, so you can garner the same profit another person can, but where are you putting that profit when you get it?
Facts.
This is like I said.
I'll wrap it, but that's my thing. You know what I mean?
No. I thank you so much because this episode of the Prime Real Estate Network podcast may be someone in our audience first exposure to this topic.
Okay.
Their first exposure to you as a professional, and their first exposure to the different avenues and different options they have to invest the monies that we work so hard to earn.
No doubt about it.
So, and I got to ask you this, Nate, because Larry and I, we talk about just about every week on the show how when we were growing up in school, there were no entrepreneurial classes. There weren't any business owners and entrepreneurs that came to career day when we were in high school. So, and this is our final question, Nate. I know you're super busy on a Thursday, but I have to know for our audience, when you think back to your upbringing, was there a member of your family? Was there someone in your community's social circle that might have been a motivation or inspiration for you to be a business owner, entrepreneur, or to expose you to the wealth building and investment industry?
My mom. My mom owned her own business, but she owned it like she graduated high school pregnant, you know what I'm saying? So she went into business because she had to go into business. Like there was not many options in the 80s, early 80s at that. But as I grew older, like she always had a new business venture or something she was getting into to add to it, but there was never that next step. So like when she owned a beauty salon, she didn't have anyone come. Every person who came in there with a suit came in there and robbed her. Took lump sums of money, chunks of money, and never did what they said they would do. So I got to the point where I was getting put out of school and I would see this. And I was like, damn, you know what? I'm going to tell you how funny God works. I said, I'm going to start a business that helps businesses function to success. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I saw it. I would get put out of school and I'd have a day full of work, but it would strike my brain because I'm a little different. When I'm not here and suspended to do this, you're doing all this on your own. That's why you come home mad and frustrated, but it works. You figured out how to make money. So the idea now is to be the continuation of that business sense, or at least that entrepreneurial spirit that I own my own idea into, okay, how do I be an actual owner instead of owning a job? And I find a lot of people need that. So that would be my first inspiration. And honestly, everywhere I've ever worked, I've treated it like I owned it. I never went to a job and swept the stuff under the counter or, brushed it off to the side or threw the stuff in the back. And I've never, anytime I was given a job or a task, I did it in a thorough fashion to the capacity of I own this place. Like this is, I work there like I own it. And when I'm ready to leave, guess what? I leave like I own me. I'm not begging. I don't want to lose this job. No, I'm good. I can go get another job. I know how to work. I know how to shake a hand and be respectful. I can get a job. Right. So, yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, man, because that's true motivation, because it's always been there.
No, man. And we ask that every week because Larry and I, we've had the privilege of interviewing so many talented business owners and entrepreneurs, and the members of our community online, followers of the show, members of our audience that subscribe to the channel. They've had the benefit of hearing not only your story, but other entrepreneurial stories in their upbringing. And I hope that there's a member of our audience that's sitting in their chair right now who can see you, Mr. Brown, and see a part of themselves, hear a part of your story, and it jives and helps them reflect on a part of their story, and it motivates them to get involved. So please, Nate, before we have you sign off, please share your contact information one last time, because for anyone who's heard your story and is moved, I want them to be able to reach out to you right now.
So it's nfbrown.org for your life insurance, retirement, and financial planning needs. If you'd like to retire early, you'd best plan early.
That's right.
Also, my business cell is 504-920-5071. I give it out because that's the best way to contact me, because I am on the go. I can work from anywhere with Wi-Fi. Yeah. I don't like to live confined, but also I'm on all socials as Mr.Brown_life agent or just Nathan Brown. And I'm a human, man. Like I'm a person. I'm a real person. Quite often I inbox people and I ask them, hey, I'd love the opportunity to earn your family's business. Yeah. And they ignore me, but I'm like, I see what the scammers are sending you in your inbox. Yeah. Nobody's asking you for the opportunity to earn your family's business. Right. Nobody. So I keep going and I get lucky sometimes,
No, man, keep working, man, because the work you're doing, man, is so needed and so highly beneficial. Larry and I both want to thank you for your time, Nate, man. Anytime you want to tap in with us, man, any event, anything that you got going, please just keep us updated, man.
I got to catch up with y'all. Y'all on the go, man. I'm trying to burst some commercial real estate here up in this area. It's a lot of, just getting in the way of progress. They're already building the highway. Why can't I buy something along the
highway? No doubt, man. So please.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So thank you, Nate, man. Thank you so much, man. And we'll talk to you soon, Mr. Brown.
Definitely. Be blessed.
You too, bro. Come on, Brooks, man. These boys out here talking about money, talking about building, talking about wealth, and most importantly, he's talking about collaboration.
Yes.
Partnership.
Yep.
Taking your wealth building to the next level, man. So, Larry, man, great interview, man. What did you take from our time with Mr. Brown?
Man, I've had an opportunity to sit on the stage with Mr. Brown in Clubhouse, man, and just to listening to him be passionate about it and enlightening guests moving in it is just the biggest thing to me, man. It makes me even think, because when you get into business, you learn structure one way, But what I'm seeing and my takeaway is that even with the way that I learned how to set up companies 20 years ago is now changed, right? The way that you can leverage and build up your business now has changed. And so even myself, I'm going to make an appointment to sit down with Mr. Brown and figure out how it is that I can take and maneuver and restructure some things that I may have built 20 years ago or 10 years ago to where they are now, to be able to scale where I'm at now and to get a little bit level up even more, man. So I took away that, I remember hearing about and starting a whole life policy 20 years ago. And then I got out of it because the person that I was sitting down with or the person that scheduled it for me didn't properly tell me how to use it. The vehicle has changed. So, it's something that highly interests me, man. So I took away from that is that these things, applying and putting them into trust, is what other people are doing, have done to build the wealth and to protect their family moving forward. So I took that away, man, that these things change and you need to grow with your business as it grows. So the real strong nugget, man, is just even to be able to have a way of putting a pension in place for your employees, people that have been with you for years, man. I have great people that are around us at Brooks and Davis. I want to be able to protect them or have them be a part of the brand for many years to come. And to be able to offer them something like a pension is growth, man. So, yeah.
No, man, that was live, man. I think you did our audience a great service by exposing the members of the Prime Real Estate Network audience to Mr. Brown, man. Big, huge shout out to him. Big, huge shout out to everybody who follows the show, subscribes to the channel, man. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button to help us out in the algorithm, man. Before we sign off this week, Mr. Brooks, anything you want to share with the audience that's going on in the world of the Texas Real Estate King?
Man, I just want everyone to stay plugged in. If you know anybody that's looking to get into the licensee part of real estate, man, please have them reach out to me, man. I love to tell people more about this industry and the growth that's taking place. They don't even have to be just here in the Houston area. Again, if you're in Dallas, Austin, these are areas. Austin is, again, we just initiated that growth out there in the Dallas area. Someone that's looking to build a book of business, or a realtor that's a rock star. We love an opportunity to sit down with them and see how we can get a branch of Brooks and Davis there as well. So that's it, man. I just want people to feel free to reach out to me.
Hey, man, take Mr. Brooks up on his offer. Reach out to him. Reach out to myself on Instagram. You can reach Mr. Brooks at Texas Real Estate King. You can reach me at Prime Real Estate Rick. You can follow the show on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Network. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this week. I want to thank Mr. Brown for being our guest, man. And until next Thursday, everyone out there in the audience, please be safe and be blessed.
Be blessed.
Thank you.